Oh no, there's a lava wall. What? Oh, ow, it hurts. Okay, oh look, so I can go through there. Oh, what are these things? Ooh, that's good for me. Ooh, another one. Ooh. What's wrong? Oh, I guess I don't need any more health. Okay, Nemesis. Today, I will show you how to build these health pickups and also the lava walls. First of all, we're gonna make our health pickup. So let's go to the Unity Asset Store website. This time, I know a specific asset store asset that I want to get. It's called Simple Gems and Items Ultimate Animated Customizable Pack. I will provide a link in the video description so you don't have to go searching for it. This is free. Just need to add to my assets, open in Unity, download, import. I've already done that. Once you've imported into your project, BTM assets, thank you, Benja the Maker. So in the prefabs folder of BTM items gems, there's prefabs and it's got all these different items. And the one I want for a health pickup is going to be called Heart. There's a couple different ones. There's one that's just Heart, and then there's one that's Heart 1. We can just double click on them to see them. Okay, there's a Heart. Heart 1. I don't know, Heart and Heart 1 look the same to me. And then there's Heart Gem, which definitely looks different. So, I mean, feel free to use whichever one you want. So I'm going to go back to the world. I'm just going to drag Heart onto the world. And then I'm going to move it up so you can see it. It's not partly underground. And here's the prefab. It has a script on it for the animations, but I'm going to remove that. Well, let's just watch it, see what it looks like. Okay, so here it is. It's bouncing up and down, and it's also like growing and shrinking. I don't know, I don't really like that. You can keep it if you want, but what I'm going to do is something a little, I'm going to do my own, and I'm going to make it a little bit simpler. So I'm going to remove this animation script, and I'm going to add a box collider. That puts a collider around it that just perfectly fits the object. And look at the size of the heart compared to the slime. It's much bigger. So I'm going to make it like 0.5. Let's see, that's still pretty big. It doesn't need to be the same size. Maybe a 0.4 be fine. In the box collider, we want it to be a trigger so that it can detect when we touch it. And then I'm going to add another component to this heart, and it is my script. It's called Touch Pickup. Select the item you want to put the script on, and you can drag the script over into the inspector. So here is the script. We're just going to pick, we want it to be a healing. It's going to heal 20 points, and this destroy after enter is what makes it disappear once you've picked one up, so you can't just keep getting healed over and over again from the same heart. So because our slime is a green color, I also want my heart to be a green color. So I'm going to go to the material for the heart, and as you can see, it's got a red color. Now I can just change this to green. I don't know, that work? But I also noticed this has materials in the BTM assets item gems, and there's like a green one that's available. In fact, that's probably the exact same as the color I chose. In fact, the one that was red, I've changed to green, so I'm going to go change it back to red. And you can drag whichever color you want on there, or you can pick your... If you're making a green slime like me, then probably a green heart would make sense. Okay, so now let's look at the script. So here is touch pickup script. Okay, so We only need using Unity Engine, and the name of it is touch pickup, and it's a mono behavior class. Inside the class, I'm defining an enum, which just means it's a thing that can be any one of different options. And so the name of my enum is effect type, and it has 3 types for now: is none, heal, damage. This is just defining what kind of effect this pickup object will have, so we can use it for more than just healing items. The next thing is variables. So we're defining the type effect type, and a variable called enter effect type is the effect type of this particular item, and then the enter effect amount is how much it heals or damages or whatever it does. And the reason I'm specifying enter, just in case at some point we want to start making different kinds of pickups that are not like that are affected just by when you touch them. Okay, here's the update method. This is the thing that happens every frame, and this is just the rotation that we want to do. It says transform.rotate, and then vector3.up is the XYZ coordinates of pointing straight up. So it's x0, y1, and z0. And the reason that we want to use up is we're defining the axis around which we're going to rotate. So we're rotating around the vertical axis. You spin around while standing up, you're spinning around the vertical axis. If you were to lay down on the ground and roll, you would be rotating around a horizontal axis, but we want this heart to stay standing up but rotating. And this 90 just means like that's how many degrees it turns, and then the time.delta time is like it's dividing it by the number of frames per second, so that 90 it'll turn 90 degrees in 1 second. And then we're making another method, private void, and it's called OnTriggerEnter. This is very similar to OnTriggerStay that we used for the damaging effect. This is just a one-time effect that as soon as you touch a object, it triggers, and it uses the collider, and we're going to call it other. This is the collider of the object that triggered this collider. And there is a variable called did it work, and it's a boolean, which just means true or false. We're going to start it off as false. We want to know whether or not we successfully did the action that this pickup is supposed to do. So in our case, it's going to heal, but we don't need to heal. Like your health is already 100%. We want to say, no, it didn't work, so we won't remove pickup. So the next thing is the if statement. We want to say if the other, which is the collider that touched the item, if that collider has a game object, it's not null, then we will create a character variable called affected character, and it is the other collider, not game object, and we're going to ask for the component that is the character component for that object. So we're going to assign it to this character variable. Then we're going to say if the affected character is not null, meaning it is a actual character that touched the item. Then we're going to do, this is a new thing that I haven't talked about before, switch statement. So switch is kind of like an if. So when you do an if, you're saying if whatever's inside these parentheses is true, then we'll do what's inside the braces. In a switch, we say here is a variable or a statement of something that will evaluate to a value, and then we're going to say list some cases that could be equal to that value. So here's the cases. Because we're looking at the switch case variable is enter effect type, we're saying is the enter effect type effect type.heal. Then we will do did it work equals affected character.heal, and then we'll heal the enter effect amount. And I made a note here. We don't use time.delta time in this case. We did in the damaging effect because it was as long as you stay touching the object, you keep getting hurt. But the heal is going to happen just a one time. As soon as you touch the healing effect object, the pickup, it heals you and then it goes away. So if it's a heal, we do the healing effect, and then we have to say break, because the way switch cases work, when you are done with a case, if you found the case that you want and you don't want any of the other cases, then you break out of the switch case and then it'll go out. And then of course there's another case for damage, and so whatever, if we go back up here, we'll have a case statement for each of these. We don't have to have one for the none, because none just means we don't do anything. And the very last thing we do in the script is if did it work is true and destroy after enter is true, then we will destroy this item. So did it work will be, did we accomplish the effect? Each of these is going to return a value. I'll show you how that works. But then also, we only want to destroy the game object if this destroy after enter is true. So we could create different kinds of items, some of which, when you touch them, go away. Others, they don't go away on touch. Like, for example, if you're supposed to be, as long as you're touching it, it has an effect. Which we have not built that logic yet, but this will get us partway there, help us so we don't have to do it later. Okay, so that's that script. And then we also need to update the character script also. So on the character script, I've also added a couple heal sounds, heal sound and no heal sound. Heal sound is pretty obvious, I think. And whenever you are healed, it plays a sound, but if you try to pick up a heal, or if you try to be healed and you don't need to be, it will play a different sound. And then this is the main part I've added to the character script. It is the heal method. I already had it here before, but all it did was, I think a couple of these lines was all it did. What we want to do different is we want to know, is the current character's health less than the max health? Because we don't need to heal if if there's not a difference, if they're not less than max health. So if it is less than max health, we heal. But if it's not, we play the no heal sound and then we return false. And this return false is the did it work will be false. Now, we'll go back to the part that we actually do heal. If health is less than max health, then we say health plus equals heal amount. And then, if health ended up bigger than max health, then we're just going to say the health is equal to max health so that it can't go over the max. And then we go ahead and we play the sound, heal sound, and return true. So true means did it work? Yes, it worked. We healed. And did it work? False is we did not heal. We did not need to heal. And then also in the damage, I'm going to do the same thing with a if the health is already 0 or less, we cannot damage. But otherwise, if we damage, then we'll return true. So I'm going to go back to Unity Editor, go to the player, and we're going to look at the character script. I have already selected, I've already done this before, I made the video. We have the death sound and the hurt sound, but we also have heal sound and no heal sound. So back in the LewyT Essential Free Sound Effects, I liked the menu use item sound for healing, and then there's another menu sound called denied. There's actually a heal sound, but in my opinion the heal sound is a little bit too dramatic. Let's go play it so you can see what I mean. Okay, well that's a pretty dramatic heal sound. This is just supposed to be a simple pick up pick up a small item that heals 20 points out of your 100. So I don't feel like it needs to be a sound like magic spell or something. It'll just be you'll hear it here in a bit. So let's go ahead and click play. I've already set these things on here. We're going to get damaged a little bit so that we can heal. And then we're going to go touch the heal object. And you hear that little boop. That is our heal. And it disappeared, and I don't know if you noticed, but it did increase our health. But one heal did not heal us enough. It's easy to get hurt quite a bit in the way I've set up these damaging objects. So the next thing I want to show you is how to place more than one of these hearts so that you can heal multiple times. So first, I'm going to go into my prefabs. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it pickups. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to drag my heart into this. Here's the new prefab for heart pickups. We can drag this onto the world and make multiple copies. Now, as you can see, I'll just zoom in a little bit. When we drag it onto the world, it places the center point, or whatever the where the gizmo is for moving it. That will be touching the surface that you drag onto. So we can do another one, and that places part of the heart itself under the ground. So depending on the steepness of the surface, how much and what part will be underground. But you can drag it up with the little up arrow. So I like them to be a little bit above ground. This one seemed a little bit high, actually. So I go down, sometimes I go down until it touches the ground. I'm like, oh, it's actually partially underground again. Don't want that, so then I can drag it up. Look at it from different angles to see if it looks the right height. Another thing you can do, instead of dragging from your prefabs, if you've made some change, you want to move an object that's already there, instead of dragging it from a new prefab, you can hold down Control Shift, and then the little, I don't know what you call this little gizmo in the middle, turns into just a little square. You drag that around, and it will drag up and down over hills, and it will always be on the surface, at least partially on the surface. So wherever you drag, it will be. So you can drag it wherever you want, but then if you want it to be above ground, you have to drag it up with the up arrow. So I'm going to move some of these different places. Another thing you can do is when you have an item, you can press Control D and watch over here. Control D actually duplicates it, but it duplicates it in exactly the same place as the one that you had selected. So then you need to move it. So you Control Shift, and then you can drag that one around, and the other one stays there. Reposition it as needed. So that's how we can position a bunch of these items wherever we want. Now, if we make it too high up, our character will go underneath it. We'll probably have to jump to receive it to get that one. Let's go ahead and try that out again. I'm gonna go ahead and get hurt. Oh, ooh, that's a lot. This one? This one? I'm not gonna get that one. I'm gonna go under this one, but it's too high. Oh, no, I did. I got it. I guess it wasn't so high that I couldn't touch it. But now this one, if I touch it, it does not pick it up. It just makes that funny sound. Okay, so now we have all the stuff we need to make some kind of a obstacle course level. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to move my player. I'm going to do a Control Shift. Get the player. I'm going to move it down here. I'm going to click on the terrain. I'm going to paint trees. I'm actually going to erase some trees so that the trees are not in the way. And then I'm going to go to this lava obstacle. I'm going to Control Shift on this guy and move it wherever I want it. I'm going to move it down here, Control D, and move the duplicate up, but it's still going to touch it. And then we're going to Control D again, move it up. And then I'm going to right click, create an empty object. We're going to call it lava wall. I'm going to select these 3 lava obstacles and put it into the wall. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate them again and move them up just enough. I'm going to go down so I can tell what I'm doing. So as you can see, we've made something like a wall out of these damaging obstacles. And well, there's some gaps in between. Those are not big enough to get through. Character would not be able to fit to make it something like that. Now we can also take this wall and duplicate the whole wall. So now there's a new lava wall, and it's in the same place as the other one, so we'll move it. And of course it's oriented the same way, so we're going to rotate it. Rotates around whatever position that empty was relative to the others. Now, because this was a wall going up a hill, this one rotated. It doesn't quite look right going that way. It's still okay. It will still work for our purposes. But if you were to make something that was up too steep of a hill, you could end up making a hole underneath, or making it, to prevent the hole, you would be submerging the other part really low, and then maybe the character can jump over the top. So you just have to decide how you want to make that. And if that doesn't work, you can actually make a new wall, a new empty. We'll just go grab one of these lava obstacles and move it inside the new object. Call it a lava wall flat. So, and then I'm going to Control D duplicate, Control D, and then move. Select all of them, Control D, move the duplicates up. You've got this other wall. You want the wall to be longer, you just duplicate some on the end. If you want to move the whole wall, you select the lava wall parent object. And you can do a Control Shift, move it around, Control D to duplicate it, Control Shift move the duplicate. So now let's go through this obstacle course. Like, oh, there's walls in the way. Oh, it hurt me. Go back around here. Oh, around here. Oh, it's hurting me. Oh, well, there's a healing thing. Boom, it healed me a little bit. I still need more healing. Get the next one, it heals. I don't need more healing. And now I get the denied sound. Okay, thank you for watching part 11 of LewyT Amusement Academy. If you learned something down here in my lab, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, enemies, frenemies, and even your nemesis. I still have a lot more planned in my curriculum, but I want to open it up. If you have any requests for what you would like to learn, I will see if I can work it into one of my future videos. In part 12, we will add another kind of pickup, money. And what is money good for to a slime, you may wonder? Well, we will figure something out.